Monsterland is a brand new 2020 anthology horror TV series for Hulu. This one kind of came out of nowhere for me. I know this was like a Dread Central show or something, and maybe Hulu rebooted it or did another season or something, but those episodes are not a part of this. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I didn't look into it enough to tell you, honestly. I just saw it was on here. It dropped on October 2nd. I got to check it out over the last few days. It's 8 episodes long. Each episode's about 45 minutes to an hour-ish. It's got a lot of familiar faces in it. Like a lot of faces I was not expecting to see. Some not like big names, but bigger names. I was like, oh shit, you and the guy who played Luke Cage and freaking Kelly Marie Tran and freaking the list goes on, and there's tons and tons of people in this. And this show was getting shit on. Like it has like a 5.2 or something on IMDb, and all the reviews are like, this is bad, I don't like this is the shit, this and that. I'm confused on that one because I thought almost every episode was very good. I really enjoyed this show. I'm not understanding what the problem with it is, and I keep seeing a lot of negative towards it, but like every episode has to do with a specific city, so every episode has the name of a city in a state, and it also has to do with each episode kind of centering around a different monster. I think maybe what people aren't liking about it is they seem to think maybe there's some like social commentary, political agenda. I mean, I guess I could kind of maybe see that a little tiny bit, but very little. Or there isn't enough monster stuff for them. They wanted to see like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. And that's what I really liked about this show, is that it doesn't rely on things we've seen in the past. This is much more focused on real life drama and, kind of that. It's kind of going back and forth between like, who's the real monster here? Is it the people or is it the monster that they encounter? The monsters are kind of a footnote to most of these stories. Most of these stories have to deal with the drama of people's lives, the choices they make in their lives, and kind of how they deal with those things. And then you kind of throw a monster into the mix that has some kind of symbolism to it or something. And those almost all work for me. The acting is super, super great in like all of these pretty much. The only one I didn't really like that much was the Kelly Marie Tran one because of the ending. But all the acting and all the drama throughout until the very end is excellent. So I was totally into it, and then it kind of goes in this like dumb direction at the end that I was like, did I miss something? How is this relevant? And okay, that's how it's ending. So that was the only one that kind of left me scratching my head like, I don't know about that one. I didn't really get that one. And there's some bizarre shit in here. There's a couple turns that I was like, whoa, okay. They're really, and I've said this a million times, and I'm going to continue to keep saying this on my channel until I fucking stop doing this. I would rather somebody try something different and fail than be safe and be successful. I'm all for doing different weird things. So there's a few things in here that I'm like, whoa, what the but whether or not it fully worked or not, I don't care. I'm glad they went for it. And so I was fully entertained during this. The first episode, man, it was heartbreaking. It's odd. It's got a twist to it that people might be like, I don't really understand ultimately what that all meant. But I got it. As I said, there's a lot of metaphors in here. There's a lot of symbolisms. There's a lot of social commentary, stuff like that. To me, Monsterland is essentially what I had wished the Twilight Zone, the Jordan Peele Twilight Zone should have been. If this was Twilight Zone, I would have been fucking raving the Twilight Zone. I've been like, yes, this is so cool. These stories are, very modernized, and the acting and everything is so damn good. And I really like how a lot of these stories go. As I said, as far as the monsters go, you're not getting traditional things here. You're not getting vampires. You're not getting werewolves. You're not getting these things. I'm not even going to say what they are because I want them to be surprises when they come. And they're not the focal point. And I do think that might be an issue for people. And they're like, oh, I don't want metaphors. I don't want, fucking drama. Like, I just want to see monsters. And I can get that because of the title. But because I guess it's because I go into everything blind. And I really just let films or TV series be exactly what they are. They present themselves, and however they present themselves to me is the way that I take them. I don't go in with expectations. I don't go in, thinking things are going to go a certain way, and when they don't, I get pissed off. Like, yeah, I get it. The title's this. But what the show gave me, I really enjoyed. So I'm not really, and I saw a couple friends who saw it, and they're like, yeah, I watched a couple episodes, I'm not caring for it. And then one of my friends was like, I loved it, and I was like, okay. And I her and I actually see pretty eye to eye on things a lot of the time. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna give it a chance. And I watched the first episode, and I thought it was great. I want to say the actor's name. I know him from a fucking million things. He's a fantastic actor. I love this dude. But I'm like blanking on his name. Isn't his name Jonathan Tucker? I want to say that's his name from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. He's the dorkier guy with the glasses, and he has like this almost a speech impediment. And then he's in a ton of shit, man. He's fucking phenomenal. He's such a badass. I love that guy. It was so weird to see him go from that real geeky role in Texas Chainsaw to like a legit. He's such a psycho. The way he has such a psychotic look in his eye. Him and like Ben Foster, like these are dudes that I don't know if it's how they are or what, but the way he looks, man, there's just this craziness in his eyes. Then the next episode stars one of the kids from Ozark, Ruth's brother or cousin. Can't remember if that's her brother or cousin. I think it's her cousin. He's in that one. That one was pretty good, and it really just kind of deals with anger and the influence of the internet and feeling like included. And the first episode really deals with it reminded me a little bit of the Babadook mixed with something else. I'm not going to say what. I want to keep this spoiler free. But it definitely had airs of the Babadook. So if you're like, I can't stand the Babadook because I couldn't stand that little kid, you're going to fucking hate this episode. Same thing. It's another little kid just like the Babadook kid. And it's just this monster kid that just keeps screaming and is so annoying. And you're like, I want to fucking throw this kid. I can't handle this child. If that was my child, I would be so bummed out of my mind. Thank God my daughters are amazing. I mean, they have their moments, but this kid seems to be like this all the time. If my kids were as awful as they have been at some points all the time, dude, I don't know. Would you be able to be a parent to, like honestly, you have kids, some of you. If your kid was a fucking monster 24/7, like if you barely ever had any good time with him ever, how many years would you be happy? How many years would you last? Dude, I don't know. Like, I know you're supposed to fucking love your kid and this and that, but that kid, oh my goodness. But so on. I can't remember every single episode. I mean, unless it was presented. I think the next one is one that's set in like New Orleans, and this guy is a doctor and he's saving kids, and then something comes out and the mom's dealing with the grief of this. And that, I thought that was really good. I thought that was really good because of what it meant. And as I said, the metaphors of it and all of that. I thought that was great. And that's not a traditional monster at all, what you see in it. And then the next one I want to say is The Lawyer. And this was a pretty cool one. I can't say what it was. I know I keep repeating myself here, but it really just has to do with greed and corruption and dealing with the ramifications of what could come after if you're not a good person in this life. You know, you think you can just get away with anything, but who knows, man? Maybe there is some judgment after. Kind of deals with those themes, and I thought that was super well acted, super well done. And then the next one is I think is in a fishing town, and it's this guy who was injured in that spill from the fourth one. So they are connected in a way. Like there's some connections to other episodes. They're very loosely connected. In fact, a character does show up. Like the character in the first one shows up in the last one, not as like a main character, but as a character. And I was very surprised to see that, but they do kind of bleed over into one another a little bit. But also, I think, let's see what else. And then one has to deal with a missing kid, and that's the Luke Cage one. Oh man, that was a rough watch, man. Anytime a kid's missing, I have anxiety immediately. It's like the worst subject imaginable. The thought of losing your child, not your kid dying. Your kid gone missing, and you just never know. That's the fate. That's the fate worse than death. That's the worst fate imaginable, and their acting in that is fantastic. There's a scene in it that I think a lot of people will be like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" But I liked it. It was different. It was definitely different. It did not go away. I thought it was going to go at all, and the monster in it is definitely to be thought about and analyzed, and like, what does that even mean, which I really appreciated about it. And then the Kelly Marie Tran one, her friend goes missing and she kind of takes over her life, and she's dealing kind of with the guilt of that. And then I think that's 7 of them, and I think what one more. What was the other one? Well, whatever it was, I mean, maybe it'll come to me before I'm done here. But yeah, man, I dug it. I really did. I was pretty into every single episode. In fact, the one I'm forgetting, I'm sure if I remembered it right now, I'd be like, oh yeah, that one. I really enjoyed that one. Because outside of the Kelly Marie Tran one at the very end, I was digging the shit out of this. So what's the issue? Did you guys watch it? What's your problem with this? You just thought it was too much, boring, not enough? What? I'm confused. I feel like this should be getting a lot more praise, a lot more attention. But I seem to not be lining up with some people lately. I don't know. I think it's a good show. So anyway, very well shot, very well acted. Production value is high. I hope it gets another season. I sure shit would watch it. And I'm trying to remember that last episode before we can it here, but I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I mentioned all those. I don't know. As soon as I get off, though, it's going to pop into my head. I'm going to be like, motherfucker, that was my favorite one. That's always what happens, right? Oh, well, whatever. Check out Monsterland, man. Give the first episode a watch. If it's not for you, then I don't know. Maybe it's not for you. But, I think the show's super, super good. So let me know if you watch it. Adios.